Yo, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder. We are back again for another dope sauce, dopity Infinity Kingdom video. Today, we are going to be touching on what can only be described as a just out of left field change from IK on them pretty much nerfing jumpers. And we're going to show you exactly what has been done, the changes, and also explaining why jumping might be pretty non-existent now. Okay, before we get started, as always, make sure you guys sub to the channel, hit that thumbs up, and ring that notification bell to get updates. Okay, what are we even talking about? Okay, let's take a look here at one of the newest updates, and you'll see this here from... with 106, Dear Lords 106, the servers from now on will resume the novice relocation entry, and you'll be able to use the Space Novice teleports to move to the servers under construction. They say, at the same time, in order to balance the ecology of each server, which, oh boy, let me Google ecology, because I have a good idea, but let's see what the definition is. It says, the branch of biology that deals with the relations of organisms to one another and to their physical surroundings. There has to be more definitions here. Let's see. That's the only one I found. No, I found late 19th century originally as ecology. Nope, just a Greek definition. Okay. Point is, they're saying that the ecology of the server and to enhance the fairness of the game, we have made new rules for the following three server statuses. Okay, right, they list this out. Unavailable, right, the World Chronicle process has not completed. Gnome Nemesis. Under construction, which is really the most important part here, is that you can now jump with your castle level 8 or lower during the Gnome Nemesis phase. And then it will end at Supreme Alliance. So before this current update, which is extremely big for the game as a whole, is you were able to jump from Chronicle 3 to Chronicle 6. Let's talk about exactly what does that even mean. So, if we go into our Chronicles, you will see that Chronicle 3 opens up, if you look at this, right, 1540 is when the first Chronicle started on 615. Keep in mind, we are on, just for context, we're on S57. And you can see here that Chronicle 3 completed on 617, 740. Right? So, again, keep in mind, this server opened up before 6:15 for 57. It opened up, actually, on June 15th at around 11:46 p.m., right? This is getting into a.m. This is about, I don't want to say 12 hours, because 12:30 is 8:30, or 12 UTC is 8 a.m. So we're looking at 14, that's 10 a.m., right? So almost 12 hours before or after it opened, right? So you got 12 hours plus then you're stacking on 17, 740, right? So you're looking at about 2 days. I mean, again, about 2 days, because you're looking at 12, yeah. So a little more than 2 days maybe that it took. Now on average, Chronicle 3 typically will open, from what we've seen, anywhere from 2 to 3 days. We average it about 2.5, but it can be anywhere from 2 to 3 days. That allows for you to bring your accounts in. Now, with the recent change, you have to wait till Chronicle 8, which is Gnome Nemesis. This means, and we tested this from server 97 along with S57, because S57 didn't have a high population, right? We could have used any. I just picked a server essentially kind of at random. Now, in S97, their Chronicle 8 opened about 7.5 days after the server opened, right? This is, you could argue, a little bit faster, because, even though it's not that much when I tell you what happened in S57, but the reason why I wanted to look at S97 was because S97 was the contention of Legend server, and it is going to be it got more influx of players into it than a standard server that wasn't being opened because of other regions coming into the game as well. So you look at S57, you can see that S57, it took about 7 3/4 days, right? So about a quarter longer than it did for S97 to complete their Chronicle 8. Now, it will last until Chronicle 11, right, which is Supreme Alliance. So you have, arguably, from when this completes, which they did it at 623, and then you have Supreme Alliance being completed here on 708, right? You have about, what, 2 weeks, if this is right? Yeah, I guess it is. So, yeah, I mean, it is a while that you have. They're actually somewhat extending it if you really think about it, right? Because this completed on the 23rd, and then this completed on the 8th. So they're almost giving you like 2.5 weeks to bring your jumpers over. So it's actually a longer period of time than what they gave you from 3 to 6. But at the same time, right, let's take a look at exactly what you are missing out on. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts overall on kind of where I see jumping going and where it is currently. These are the things you're missing out on now because of the change. So at Chronicle 3, this is when level 1 and 2 cities open, right? This is essentially right when cities open, arguably when this completes, that you could get in. Meaning that the moment that you come in, you could arguably go in and take a level 1 and 2 city, you know, on that day. Then we get over to Chronicle 6, which you will miss out on as well. This is when level 3 cities open. In addition, current cities can be leveled up to 4, right? So you have from Chronicle 6 to 8 to essentially, you know, pile everyone in and start leveling up cities to 3, arguably 4, right? Making it a little more difficult for now jumpers to come in and take cities. Then we finally get to Chronicle 8 when it opens, and nothing is there for Chronicle 8. But at Chronicle 9, which could arguably happen, keep in mind, right, you have about a week here, 623, this completes 703, so you have a little over a week for 9 to finish. But when 9 does finish, this is when level 4 and 5 cities open up, right? So you may, up until you're able to jump, have to potentially deal with level 3 and possibly level 4 cities, along with arguably all level 1 through 3 cities being captured, meaning that you may only be able to get, keep in mind, like, even if you're just looking at first occupation bonuses, you may only be able to get level 4 cities, right? Because if you capture a level 1 through 3 city and they're all capped, you're not going to get the first occupation bonuses for green gems for all your players, right? You may be able to do some counter capping or counter sieging to get some cities, but even if you're just looking at the initial levels, right, you're going to have to wait for the most part, right? You'll probably have to be grabbing level 3 or 4 cities. I'm sure there's probably going to be some, not every single alliance is going to be focusing on leveling up cities, but with this new update, they may consider doing that now. That actually could be a strategy to make it a little more difficult for jumpers, right? So if new servers basically just go around telling everyone, look, you guys need to level up your cities ASAP, right? So you can make it a little more difficult when jumpers come in. That could be a strategy. What I will say, right, and this is what we can take a look at, is if we go, let's say, for example, to a server. Oh gosh, here, let's do it this way. Let's go and look at a server right now that is, right, because arguably what we'd have to try and find out is where's a server that's about 7, where's 99? So 99 is 15, yeah, we might have to wait. So, I mean, 15 days would be the closest, right? What you would have to do is try and look at where a server is about 8 days in, right? Now, the average we've said that we recommend players being at troop power-wise is around 19K to 20K troop power when you're going in. And that's because if you're around 19 to 20K troop power on day 3, right, which I did a lot of this data collection when I looked at multiple servers on where they were on day 3, we averaged it there because that puts you into the top 100 overall troop power, meaning you will be there. If your jumper's there, that's where you'll be. Now, if you double that, and or 2.5 that, right, and you say, okay, now where do I need to be at 8 days? Right, again, that number is going to be higher, right? You might need to be 30K troop power, give or take. But the point is that you're going to have to prep your jumpers longer now before you even go in, right? Before you could get away 3-4 weeks, you prep, right, if you're free to play, and that can put you into that 19K range, plus or minus, and you're usually good to go by then. Now, some people can do it faster depending on how you allocate resources, but we like to give a soft conservative bubble. But now, with the change, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to prep longer. you might have to prep 2-3 months, maybe 3 months minimum if you're free to play. Now, if you're spending, that's obviously different because you're going to be able to still, for the most part, right, be able to have a stronger troop power, level up your account in different areas than someone who's not spending. But I would say if you're free to play low spend, you're pretty much kind of in the same bubble, right? The only exceptions I would really make here would be if you're a mid to heavy spender and, you know, you're planning to invest a good amount of money purchasing and leveling, you know, getting probably a 30K plus troop power, right? I would estimate somewhere around 30K minimum, maybe 30, 35 to where you would need to get to be ready to go when it comes to day 8, right? And keep in mind, this also depends on what you as a spender are looking to get at. Are you solo? Or are you a small group? Are you going in with a big group, multiple alliances? Let me just give my overall assessment on what I currently feel, you know, this update has pretty much done to jumpers. Along with, before I even get there, let me say that I am a big fan of having good ahead of time information and announcements, right? When I look at this subjectively or objectively, when you just kind of make an out of nowhere announcement like IK did, and this is generally speaking for every game, it is just not the best look for how your community is going to perceive that, right? You're making like split-second decisions or an impulsive decision. It is always good to give a heads-up notice, right? Let people know in advance. Tell people, hey, for the next 2 weeks or once server 110 comes out, right, we are going to scale this back, as an example, right? Give people a 5-10 server cushion. Say, look, you guys can jump now from this server to these next 10 servers, and then we're going to be changing the way that jumpers work. Right? That would have been a better way to go about introducing such a change, especially a big one like this. It earns and garners more respect from your community. They appreciate, sure, don't get me wrong, it is still a change, but you at least would not be putting out anyone from left field that is currently working on a jumper or if they're currently in a jumper project. With all of that being said, what I will say now about where jumpers are currently at in the game, I really think they're going to be somewhat obsolete. I just don't think it makes any sense now to do a jumper, especially because the only people who would really be catered to in a short amount of time is going to be your mid to high level spenders. If asking anyone to have to invest what honestly feels to me around 3+ months, you know, as a free to play to low spend, that's a lot to ask, you know, of anyone. I mean, even when we did our project for S36 and S79, you know, we went between 1 and 2 months, you know, and I even thought that was starting to push it a bit. So, you know, again, keep in mind, it's, you know, and again, remember, right, 1 to 2 months, you know, that was us, you know, with our minimum 19 to 20K troop power that we were recommending for our free-to-play, right? Some people were obviously able to get a little bit more than that because of the time they put in, but honestly, to me, at least until we see some more data come out, I really believe that the current landscape is going to trend where players should just make their accounts from day one. Missing out on cities that early and not allowing for yourself to have a foothold. Now, what I will say is there is a small asterisk here. The asterisk is that you can always make accounts day one in the server and just prep your alliances and, you know, maybe you guys level those up. But keep in mind, that's a lot to ask. You would have to do a lot of extra work. Who knows if you're even going to have anyone that's going to spend. You'd have to get lucky if you're going to do that and then capture some early cities and then basically prep the shells, if you will, right, to receive your accounts coming over. Again, trust me when I say it is a lot of work. And it is something that I just really believe, to avoid the headache and just the overwork, that the majority of people really just should make accounts from day one. It's going to save you a lot of headache. It's going to be easier to manage. And the thing I will say, and so far, right, this has been one of my very few disagreements with the way that, or I should just say areas of improvement that, IK can work on is, this is not the first time that we've had or we've seen this type of out of left field announcement or policy change on things. So, what I would say is the direction they're going right now is a direction where they're probably going to try and phase out jumpers, right? Again, who knows if they will? What I'm saying is that if you look at the track record of what they did in Contention of Legends on the 4 new servers that opened when the new regions opened over there in Asia, you saw them what looked to be, again, a impulsive reaction on them disabling the ability for jumpers to come in. Now, once they re-enable jumpers on 106 with the recent announcement, they now say that there's been an update to it, right? It wasn't posted ahead of time, it just happened. And it's a nerf to jumping. So the trend is that they're scaling back what they want jumpers or what they see jumpers being able to do in servers. That's why when I look at all the facts, when I look at the track record, when I look at the chronicles of jumpers missing out on, there's just so much more time investment and arguably to an extent money investment that you would need from more people to really make it worth going in as any sizable group on day 8. So that's why I say in conclusion, I really feel that it is just overall going to be better to go in day 1. And if you want to have any of your mid to high level spenders come in on day 8, right, then you could, but I would not allow for that to factor how long you wait or how long you delay your own jump time. With that being said, that is it for me, right? These are my thoughts. These are my opinions on it from my own experience doing many jumpers on what I think this really does for the jumping landscape. And I guess if I was to leave you all with anything, I would say this. I am actually okay with them taking out jumpers. Now, yes, do I disagree with the process and the way they went about it because I see areas of improvement that makes them look better in the eyes of the community? 100%. But even though this is one of the very few areas of improvement I've seen with them, I will say when we look at jumpers as a whole, which is detached from this current topic, is that I really think it is a win. I actually really do. I think that jumpers should, in my opinion, based on what I've seen happen in other games, I actually lean more in favor of being able just to make an account from day 1. Yes, I understand that, we have talked about the opposite side of that argument, which is that, again, by being able to make a jumper, you are able to combat with some of the spenders in the server because you can come in big already. But keep in mind that, when you look at it from a free-to-play to a low spend, or basically when you look at it from anyone who's spending money that is not spending as much as the rogues, right, it is a short-term, it's a short-term attempted fix to what at the end of the day is going to be, if someone's really going to come in and spend more than anyone else, it doesn't matter how long you prep your account early on. They're just going to keep spending until eventually they overpower you or they're stronger than you. And so that's why really it always is going to come down to, right, do you have anyone on your team that is going to spend more than someone else on the other team? Right, and that's never going to change. Because I know I could see that being something that I know some people might say. So I just wanted to share some thoughts there on that because I've seen this happen countless times. Okay, finally, that is it for me. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the content. I hope you enjoy my breakdown, my thoughts and my opinions. Now, of course, I want to hear from you, the community, right? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you feel indifferent? Let me know your thoughts on this change and what we just talked about for this latest, what seems to be just shattering update to the jumper community in IK. That's it. Until next time, we'll catch y'all later.